Hi everyone, I am Janicia Francis and this is my husband
Donnie Francis,
and this is our first video together. The reason why we started making these videos, or we decided to make this video, is to encourage the young couples out there, those who are already married and those who are planning on getting married. It's a good thing. The Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So we do hope that you enjoy this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So, how we met? You gonna start, babe?
I guess so. I think it was in the year of 2008. Invitation came out at my church to attend leadership conference on St. Martin. I'm actually from St. Kitts, so normally we would have different conferences, leadership conferences throughout the region. So I attended this conference, the second annual leadership conference at the Good News Baptist Church on St. Martin, and there attending the conference is when I noticed this young lady whom I admired, recognizing that she was very much involved in the ministry of the church, and normally time to time throughout the week of that conference we would boot up and we would say hi, hello, maybe how are you, and I would continue to watch and look and admire. So that was the very first time we met in 2008.
So about two years after, we met again at a youth conference. Yes, we're famous for meeting at conferences. So we met again at the youth conference. He was one of the bus drivers for responsible for taking us to our the different places that we would like to go to, whether it's town or to see the island. I spoke to him on a few occasions, but we never went into any deep conversation because at that time I was more interested in someone else.
Sad.
So my focus was not really on him at that time. However, after the conference in St. Kitts, I moved back to Anguilla. I went back to Anguilla where I was attending college, and lo and behold, I got a message on my phone. You want to tell them what happened, babe?
So she has a sister from another mother, so to speak, and the sister, she comes, she travels back and forth from St. Martin to St. Kitts, probably on vacation or business trips. So we would, we managed to know each other as a result of that, and come to find out that she knew the young lady that I was interested in, which is now my wife. So talking with her and letting her know that I'm interested in getting to know her a little bit more. So it would be nice if I could get her contact information. So in those days they had what you call BBM. Blackberries was the phone back then. So I asked her if she can ask her to to forward her contact information so that, you know, we could get in touch and start, you know, talking just as friends. So eventually she was able to convince her. And
after a while, because when she sent me the message to ask me for my contact information for Daniel, it was like the first question was like, who is Daniel? Like, why does he even want my contact information? We don't speak like that for him to want my contact information. But she kept on telling me that he would not give up. How sweet. And I'm glad he did not give up. And after not giving up, I decided, okay, just give him the pin so he can leave you alone, and as a result of that, you can leave me alone. So she gave him my pin, and
finally,
within a split second, I received this request with this strange pin, with this person wanting to be my friend. So I pretty much figured out that it would have been him. So I accepted it, and we started talking for some time. The conversations were actually nice. He was not the type to push himself on me in any way. We just spoke as friends, nothing more. He did not express how he felt about me. We just kept it simple at that time. But I did let him know though that I was interested in someone else and I was talking to someone else at that time. But he was not concerned about that, because I guess at the back of his mind, he knew what his motive was. So he was not even concerned about that. All in all, we continued to speak on numerous occasions. While going to school, I can remember us Skyping many times, using Uvu just to communicate.
A lot of those old time communication
ways to communicate, yeah.
Technology that is out there, and I think that's what made it easier.
Yes.
In terms of communication, you know, normally maybe most people would not have looked into having an overseas relationship, because you know, it would have been hard, you know, to see the individual because they're far away from you. But the fact that we had these things on our fingertips, so long as they had access to internet, you were able to Skype and BB. Today now we have WhatsApp,
yeah.
and which is excellent.
A lot easier.
So so the communication and having to relate and communicate with each other back and forth was not difficult at all. So,
yeah. I could remember one time I was studying. I had exams coming up for CAPE, and I was studying late hours in the night, and guess who was up with me? Imagine I'm interested in somebody else, but this one person is up with me late at night on Skype while I study. And I am teaching him as if he is my student. I'm the teacher, he is my student, and I'm teaching him. At that time it was philosophy. Was it philosophy? Sociology I was studying, and I would test him and he would try to test me to make sure that when the time comes for my exam, I would pretty much pass. And that helped a lot. Thanks for that, babe. It really helped. Although, again, I say at that time, we were only focusing on being friends. So, during that conference, I went on a date with my ex, and Daniel was not pleased about it at all. He was so not pleased that he took his stuff for that banquet night, right, babe? When you went over to pastor's house.
Yeah, it was a banquet night,
yeah.
For the youth conference, and normally all of the youth, it was a Caribbean
youth conference.
So we had a lot of different islands represented at this conference, and normally the youths would tend to go and look for a date. So that on Friday, the
banquet night,
the last night of the conference, you know, everybody would be stepping in with their date. So the fact that, you know, she didn't choose me as her date, when I decided, you know, I'm gonna just not stick around.
Oh yeah, because he asked me to be his date and my ex asked me to be his date. So I was caught in between Daniel X. But I was more focused on things working out with my ex and I, because I was studying to become a teacher. My ex is a teacher, or was, he still is, so he is a teacher. So I started thinking, okay, when we take vacations, we will have vacations together. I started planning my whole future, not knowing what God had in store for me, or pretty much ignoring what God had in store for me, although it was right in front of me.
It's very important to be in God's will.
That's right.
So sometimes we think that, you know, making your own plans as a Christian, making your own plans is always important to find out if you're
in line with God's will,
is His will.
Yeah.
So obviously that was not His will, because I mean, eventually as time goes by, and eventually you'll hear more about leading up to the wedding and everything, as time goes by, praying about it, both of us, eventually we found out that this was the Lord's will for both of us to be together.
But before we came to that conclusion, Daniel did not speak to me for months. We did not communicate at all, because he was pretty much upset that I did not select him for my date, or to be my date on that day. So he was pretty much upset. We did not speak for some time. But there was this one particular time after, like, he probably did not speak to me for over a year. Probably, like, he was, like, it would be basic conversations if we ever spoke, and most times it would be me saying hi. But the conversations were never the same until about a year later, when I went to another conference in Anguilla. And he did not attend that conference. I believe, like, he just did not want to go through that again. So he did not attend that conference. And my ex was at that conference. We spoke on more than one occasion, but it was never really the same, because I started, like, my whole mindset started to change, and I really started to see or understand that Daniel was more, we had that connection more. And as a result of that, I think that should be my priority, you know, to see if things, at least give it a try and see if it works out. And that conference was in July. Daniel never spoke to me during that time until after the conference, sometime early August. I will never forget that time, when a message popped in, and there it was Daniel sending me a message, a long message, explaining how he felt about me, and how he explained to me how he felt also about me not selecting him as my banquet date. And We had an awesome conversation, and from then on, I decided that this is the direction that I'm going to go in. I'm not gonna be distracted by what other people will say or may say, because a lot of people had a lot of things to say, you know, because of the decision that I made in choosing Doniel. So I had some persons who were on my side for selecting Doniel, and I had some persons who were not on my side. They were pretty much against me selecting Doniel as my choice. But
you know, one of the things, sorry for cutting you off, but one of the things that I believe is important, and for sure one of the things that I believe is impossible, is you cannot please everyone.
That's right.
And also, so long, again, once you are in God's will, then forget about what other people say.
That's right.
You know,
true.
You have to recognize that when you're choosing a life's partner, that according to scripture and what God's will is for the family, is for the husband and for the wife to stay together until death.
Correct.
And once you are looking for a partner, you're looking for a partner to spend the rest of your life with. So it's very important that when you're selecting a partner, that
you can see yourself with that person many years
Correct.
down the line.
Correct.
Pretty much.
Do not choose a partner because, oh, this person like him or her, but you have to make sure within yourself, so long as you're dating, you're courting, that, you know, this is the one that I really love and could see myself, you know, with for the rest of my life.
And the thing I liked about Doniel and I's friendship is that we started off from just saying hi to each other, to having long conversations, to speaking to each other pretty much every day for hours of the day, all while he's working, he's texting me. And we're always in constant communication, and it never felt boring. It never felt like, why doesn't he give me a chance? Like, I always wanted to speak to him, and the same thing with him. We were never too busy, you know, to communicate with each other. Like he said, when you're making that choice, don't let anyone make that choice for you, but instead you make that choice for yourself, and make sure that you're in line with God's will. Make sure that you're pleased with the decision that you have made, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to be living with this person for the rest of your life.
Correct.
And our motto is, divorce is not an option. So, as a result of that, select who your heart yearns for. Don't just select somebody because Tom or Jerry said, I think the two of you make a lovely couple. No. Select that person because you love that person. And you know, they always tend to say that it's a good thing when you marry your best friend. I have experienced that. We have experienced that, I should say, because we got married to each other. We were friends at first, well, we were just acquaintances at first. Then we became very good friends. Then we pretty much became best friends, where we shared pretty much everything with each other. And then we became a couple. Boyfriend and girlfriend starting off first, then fiance, now husband and wife. So my advice to all of you out there is to go for who your heart is geared to, or who you can actually see yourself, literally see yourself for the rest of your life living with that person and never getting tired of being with that person. Because up to today, I always want to be under my husband. I always want to be under him. I always want to know that, you know, we're spending time together, and he's the same way as well. you know. So sometimes we will get caught up with our busy schedules, but at the same time we still see to it that we spend time with each other. But that is for another video. So we do hope you have anything else to say, babe, with regards to how we met, or
well,
anything else, any encouragement?
I close off with not only one side should have that burning feeling of wanting to be with that individual and see themselves spending the rest of their lives with that individual, but the other side, so both parties should have that same desire.
Correct.
Not one person. Both sides should have that desire. And so long as they recognize that, hey, I love you, you love me, and whatever happens, better or for worse, richer or for poorer, we're gonna work this out. We're gonna stay in this until the end.
Yeah, and for those of you who are probably wondering how did we make this work? We traveled a lot. We traveled many times throughout the year to get this to make this work, pretty much.
A lot of money. Expensive.
Well, yes, it was expensive, but it was worth it, right?
It was worth it.
It was expensive. Every break that I would have gotten from school, I would travel to see him, spend some time with him, and the same thing, because he pretty much worked for himself. He was more
flexible.
Pretty much,
so
yeah.
I could have traveled and spend as much time.
So he came for a month sometimes.
That would have been an advantage to us, because I could have, traveled back and forth.
Yeah.
Quite often. So that was a plus.
Yes.
Sure.
So that drew us even closer to each other, because we always used to hear, oh, long distance relationship doesn't work, it doesn't last, and we proved people wrong. A lot of people believe that, and we would sometimes be discouraged because of what people would tell us. But thank God we did not listen to the negativity, but instead we took on the positive, the positive that was coming to us. We took it on, and we are here today. So those of you who are in a long distance relationship and you think that it's not possible, it's not gonna work, or it's not gonna last, don't be fooled. It works. It works as long as both of you give 100% and not 50-50, but 100% from me, 100% from him.
Trust is very important.
Yes, and trust, and that communication. You cannot leave out that communication. Right. Make sure you communicate, because we communicated all the time. Skype, Uvu, BBM, WhatsApp when it came in. So communication and trust, yes. So we traveled back and forth, and we had a great time. We did a lot of crazy things, adventures, and we had an awesome time during the time that we were dating and moving or traveling back and forth. So we do hope that you enjoyed our video, our first video, and we're looking forward to creating.
Yeah, we are hoping to.
We're hoping. My husband said that he's not the talker, so he did not. But I tried to convince him, and I'm so glad that he did this. I'm so glad that he did this with me. It has always been something that I wanted to do in terms of just speaking to persons, young people like us, about marriage and how we can make it work. So this is the first step, how we met. Look out for our proposal video along with our wedding video. So proposal/wedding video. So again, thanks babe for joining me on this, and thanks guys for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.